Go.
We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Max.
Hey guys, and I'm Pep. Welcome to tonight's episode, The Brain. What is it good for? Absolutely
nothing.
Say it again.
No, it's good.
Tonight's episode is The Brain.
And how we think.
How we think using our brains, okay?
Yeah.
Listen, we're glad that you're with us tonight. As you know, we're all about simple senior health and fun. And if you can get your brain feeling younger and acting younger and being younger, obviously you're going to be younger thoughts, younger everything. It influences your entire body. The way you think actually influences everything about our lives. But anyway, I digress. What's exciting is that you should already know that Max does actually have his 4-year MD degree. He doesn't practice medicine, but he does have that clinical and scientific background. So when we talk about topics as complicated as the brain, obviously I'm out of the equation. I just kind of jump in once in a while, but pay attention to what Dr. Max is talking about. The brain, what is it good for?
All right, baby. Actually, he's a smart one. I'm just kind of filling in. So he knows. I learned everything I learned. Pepe taught me. He's just a great guy. No matter what they say about him, he's wonderful. Here's the little Gibson Brothers. And Cuba, baby, from the party days. A little louder, right? Because you can hardly hear it. There you go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'll bring back some memories. Some of you guys that were out there clubbing in the 80s. We know who you are. You know who you are for sure, right? So guys, very important. We obviously, Dr. Max and Pep, drmaxandpep.com, Facebook page, Dr. Max and Pep. So here we are. So for us, it's all about health and about fun and about especially senior people over the age of 40 and about lots of fun and providing you guys with some very, very valuable information that you can apply to your lives right now that will improve your life and the lives of those you know and love, right? So let's talk today. We're going to talk today about the neuroscience of the brain. We're going to talk about a little bit about the brain, how it's structured, and how you think, and how you come to become the person that you are, and the options that are available to you, right? So when you were young, as a child, somewhere between the ages of 6 to 10, the brain was being formed. These are very important, very formative years, and it's very important that those of you who are grandparents and have these young kids, kind of monitor what they watch because their personalities are being formed, right? So you have a child in their early years, and every time we have a certain thought, there are endorphins, there are natural proteins and hormones being released in the brain that are feel-good chemicals. So you feel fantastic. So if you've ever wondered how it is that people can look at one central concept, and then you have conservatives on one side and you have liberals on the other side, and it's the exact same idea, but they're seeing it exactly the opposite. It's because of there are certain tracks being formed in the brain. Every time you have a thought that you like and you agree with, these chemicals kind of form. They're called neuronal tracks. So they're actually nerve cells in a line, in a cord, that are actually being being created. It's almost like when you have fresh virgin snow and you walk through and you create a track. That's what's happening in the brain if you can visualize it that way. So over time, two different people will have the exact opposite, 180 degrees, 160 degree opposite of 180. That's right, 180 degrees opposite of the central thought.
He's a doctor, not a mathematician.
That's right. Math was important, but we didn't have to be Einsteins. Now, so here we are. So fast forward to your adult years, right? You go out and what does everybody tell you to do? Go get an education. So we put all this knowledge in us, but in that process, instead of the brain being free to think and imagine, you're being structured.
Fantastic. Let me jump in.
Good.
I'm going to jump in here because that is so important. The fact that you have intelligence doesn't mean squat. It's how you use your intelligence that matters, okay? Einstein, we were joking about Einstein. Dr. Einstein was asked, Dr. Einstein, obviously you're an eminent, you're a genius in physics. How many feet in a mile? He says, how should I know? Why would I memorize things that I can look up in a reference book or I can ask someone else? So he wasn't concerned about knowing things. Some people that are really feel empowered by knowing things. Like you ask them, I know about this and that, but they're not doing anything with it, or they have intelligence, but they're not applying it. So it doesn't really. All of you out there have enough intelligence to do anything you want to know. Anything you want to do. Why? Because you can learn how to do it. Everything in life is a skill. You can learn it if you want to. So you have more than enough intelligence. So it's not about having it. It's about applying it. Boom!
Yeah, man. Ooh, baby. That's strong right there. That's some good stuff. See what happens? I give this basic stuff, and then he gets these great ideas that kind of pop on in and accentuate everything. So that's good. So going back to this concept, then. So you have this formation, this human brain, which is unbelievable. You've heard it said that humans only use about 10% of their brain. That's totally false. We use anywhere from 95% of our brain on a regular basis, unless we're asleep. But and during the conscious hours, the brain is an incredibly fascinating organ that receives hundreds and thousands of bytes of information per second. It is an incredible machine, okay? So this is what's happening. So you fast forward to your late 50s, your 60s, you're older now, you know, you're watching us on video and you're saying, what's this Dr. Max and Pep thing? And what we're doing is we're getting you to realize that there are all kinds of options available for you. Now, let's talk about this. So
why do we think like we do, Dr. Max?
Wow, very good. Why do we think the way we do is because for years and years and years, these neuronal tracks have been formed in your brain for those thoughts that you actually kind of enjoy. And so you're in a pattern, you're in a rut. You're in a rut right there. Right?
I got one.
Go for it.
I got one. So this morning I'm in the gym and I'm between sets and a guy walks by wearing a college t-shirt. I say, oh, hey, did you go to XYZ school? He says, no, I lived there when I was a kid and I had to pick one. He says, I picked the wrong one. They always lose. I said, really? How long have you been in Florida? He says, oh, I've been here almost 20 years. I said, almost 20 years? I said, so why didn't you just switch schools? He looked at me like I had asked him the
forbidden question.
Like, you know, the theory of the universe. You're like, that's how ingrained he is that school's fan, even though they stink. According to him, he was not willing to change. And that got him stuck. And a lot of times it gets us stuck in different scenarios. That little example right there applies to us being stuck in emotional, financial, relationship, any other area, because you're not willing to create the new
tracks.
New tracks.
Yes, woo, dude.
Bro, that's what I thought of.
No, that's good. That's good. No, that's good stuff. And it's not an insult of the guy's school. Please don't misunderstand.
No, not the school.
Not school at all. What it is the fact of the rut. This is why 95% of people are in a rut. You know, homework, and that is their rut. Because why? Because it's comfortable. Because it's familiar. Because they've done it for years and years and years, and it's what their father did and grandfather, whatever, and it's what they're going to do. Folks, that is so false and that is so unnecessary. The human mind has the ability to accomplish so many things that is just unbelievable. You have the power. We're going to get to that in a moment. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So, things that make us sad. Oops, sorry. Didn't want to give you my back. Things that make us sad or negative, okay? I want to use some things. This is from Chuck Swindoll, Christian speaker, very popular around the country. Some really, really good concepts. I use it for the power of the message. 4 things that make us either sad or negative: people, events, circumstances, and decisions. So you talk about people. Sometimes in life, people we love do things that we don't agree with or whatever, or hurt us, whatever, and now we're sad. We're depressed. We can tend to get negative. We can tend to get into our little world going downhill, right? So people are very important in your life. Second thing, events. Maybe, who knows, 30 years ago for some of you guys have stuff in your psyche from you know, when you're in your teens, something happened, maybe God forbid you were abused, some horrible things happened. Remember those tracks, those neuronal tracks, very, very powerful. And some of you guys are dealing with that, some very deep, very profound injuries that you're having a real hard time getting past them. Okay, you have the power to get past them, but you're having it. Why? Because for many different reasons, and for the reasons I just discussed, you enjoy going back to that, you know. And some people actually, it's familiar to them.
Because it's certain. Because it's a certain. Exactly.
Yes,
Tony
yes.
Robbins talks about there are only 6 things that people all want. If you have 3, you basically fall in love with people. And when you think about that event or that person, you're certain how you feel, so you don't change it.
Yeah. And that goes back to why some people are so stubborn. You're gonna take a person who's been a liberal for 30, 40 years and a conservative 30, 40 years. Good luck trying to change their thinking. It's probably not going to, there are always exceptions to every rule, but it's probably not going to happen, right? So the last thing was, after the events, the circumstances of your life. You know, well, you know what? People have, if you ever talk to people, they have all kinds of excuses why they are the way they are. Well, you know, my dad was an alcoholic, and so therefore I was
not smart enough.
Yeah.
I'm too old.
Right.
I'm too young. I'm not healthy.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't have any education.
I didn't come from that side of the tracks.
Whatever. Excusitis is
Yes.
the biggest disease that we have.
Hey, that's another
Excusitis. That's another topic.
No,
That's
but
a whole nother-
it's also another old saying that says if you have one excuse, then any excuse will do.
Exactly.
That's true.
It's absolutely.
So you need one excuse.
And of course, the old reliable. If you want to fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. If you wanna fight,
that's a good
that's old reliable.
oldie,
if you want to fight for your limitation, if that's how you're going to feel, and you want to fight for it, you want to defend it rather than change, then you get to keep it.
Oh, man, you're on fire tonight.
Woo!
He must have rehearsed. Okay, here we go. And the final one is decisions. Decisions that you make. Very powerful stuff, you know. I mean, and even now, I think sometimes I just kind of take a step back and look at decisions that I make, from minor decisions to major decisions, and it reminds me of when the government passes a law and then there's unintended consequences that they never studied. 8 years later, 9 years later, there's all these things happening and they never studied it before they did it. So you know, and that's why the Bible talks about that among many wise counselors, wise decisions are made. So be careful before you jump into something sometimes, but you don't want to go talk to someone who's negative or takes your dream away or whatever. You want to talk to someone at your level or higher. You want to speak to people that are either successful or on the way to becoming successful, okay? It's that old thing when you were a little kid. Remember your mom used to say, hey, watch out those kids in the neighborhood. Don't hang out with those kids. Tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. Association is absolutely vital. That's why we try to associate with as many people as we can that are sharper or just have a great attitude, right? Don't want to bring you down, right?
That's awesome.
Good?
Great
Yes?
stuff, yes.
All right. And the final one is, I kind of erased it with my shirt here, but here we go. You have the power to change. You have the power to change. So even if it's been 50 years, believe it or not, of this horrible, same negative thought that has been grinding at you and destroying you and raising your blood pressure and damaging your body, okay, and may even be leading to preconditions of cancer, because, you know, it's very important that the body's healthy, that there's good blood flow, that you have a good attitude. So even if it's been 30, 40, 50, 60 years of that grinding thought, you have the power, because here's another old saying that you want to think about. Thoughts come into your brain all the time, and some of them don't even make sense, but you get to decide whether they stay there or not. You have the power. You can say, this is a good thought. It's going to improve my life. It's going to help me. I'm going to do some great things. Or you can say, I don't want to deal with that thought. And you have the power to just shun it, push it to the side, move on to other things, you know, that are going to benefit you and your family, right? Good stuff?
Absolutely. That's fantastic. That's right. That's fantastic. That's why, you know, we recommend every day you write at least one goal down, and that's your go-to goal for the day. You should have, listen, guys, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business guy, you know, Max and I, we do several different things, but we have written goals for each one. And guess what? If we don't accomplish whatever we're trying to do that day, we make sure we catch up the next day. But you have to have something to bring you to focus, because you get what you focus on. If if you're focusing on what Max was saying, the past, guess what? The past is you can't change it. So let's focus on now. So if you have something written down, you can focus on it and take action towards it, because I heard today, love is action. So if you love your family, you need to take action. If you love yourself, you need to take some action.
That's some good stuff.
Thank you. That's powerful stuff.
Yeah,
That's another action you should be taking every day is listening to positive stuff. Get on YouTube. Get some podcasts that are putting positive, good stuff. Where do you think it comes from? It comes out of us because we put stuff in. You can't give what you don't got. Come on.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Well, that's good stuff.
DrMaxandPep.com.
Wait, one more thing before we wrap up. Since you mentioned Einstein, there's this great story about Dr. Einstein. He died, I want to say, 1955, mid-50s, the old black and white days. He had the reporters with the big flash bulbs and all. So all these reporters in New York, very close to where they eventually built the Einstein Memorial, the medical center, after he had died, they got together and they got Dr. Einstein's wife, and they did like a press conference, and basically all these flashbulbs going off, and finally everything got quiet, and they all said, Mrs. Einstein, do you understand that we have just built the Einstein Observatory in honor of your husband, and with that we will be able to discover some of the greatest mysteries of the universe. And she kind of smiled and looked at him and said, "That's pretty funny." She says, "My husband used to do that on the back of old envelopes." Hey, folks, the human mind is unbelievable. We know you're not an Einstein, neither are we. But you have the power, the thought process, the ability to change your life and change the lives of other people.
Awesome.
So,
Great
what
stuff.
else, brother? We're good?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So next Thursday night, happy Veterans Day to all our veterans out there. Thank you for your service. God bless you.
And one final proverb
you
before
go.
we leave. Here you go. He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. That's Proverbs 13:20. So associate with some wise people.
All right. Have a great night.
Have a great one. See you next Thursday.
Good stuff.